I just got some energy. Raising Cane's is next door. Someone had some chicken fingers, and it just really juiced me up. So here we are. Welcome to this edition of Road Trippin. Allie Clifton, WTF Google Chrome, Richard Jefferson, a.k.a. Channing Frye. Don't forget all your Road Trippin swag at homage.com/roadtrippin. Did you guys see our friend? It's always going to have bubbles on your screen, Rich, because you're in a automatic thumbs up the entire time right now. That's what's going on. Our friend Kendrick Perkins rocking the sweatshirt on his announcement. Did you see that?
No, what announcement?
Good on Perk.
What was his announcement?
The Pat McAfee show.
Oh, that's dope. First of all,
have you been living under a rock?
Shout out Homage. Shout out Homage, for making a quadruple X for Perk, man. We appreciate you.
Oh my God.
Don't do Perk like that. I was giving a compliment. All your compliments to him are backhanded.
We're going to charge him. Oh, yes, every single one. If I could backhand him, I would. So I just do compliments.
Big Perky Lurk, you're always my favorite.
Oh, good old big.
All right, before we dive in, excuse me, to all the NBA chatter. How you feeling this morning, guys?
I feel like Channing's got some emotion he needs to get off of his chest.
Yeah, but it's unrealistic, right? I think my emotion comes from a place of like high expectations. The college game has changed. I felt like this year, honestly, we didn't have a signature win.
That's not true. That's not true.
Our signature win was the first game of the year versus a bad team.
Who?
Who's the team we beat that ended up not being good? Oh, Duke. We beat Duke.
Duke is good. They're still in the tournament. First of all, if you beat Duke at Cameron Indoor,
that's not, Coach. It's not the same, Richard. It's not the same. It is good. It's not a signature win to me, right?
Okay.
Like there were some big signature wins where I thought we could have had that would have shown growth. I just felt like we were who we were at the beginning as who we were at the end, and we were pretty inconsistent. And then I just felt like we just started jacking up threes, and it just got us away from what we were wanting to do. So it happens, and I could be a judge of whatever, and I'll probably get a call from Murph and Jay Gardner about, well, we weren't trying to do that. But I'm just like, I watched. It was just like, man, this is, it was disappointing. I thought they would go farther, but
well, look,
it is what it is.
Chan, you're not really centered up on the camera. We're only getting half your face.
Because he's really not happy. He doesn't want to fully embrace and dive into the emotions of
how No, like watching, this is the thing that I'll give them credit, right? Because you can't coach effort, and they played hard. Out rebounding them. They were picking up on defense. They couldn't make a shot. They were throwing it into Ballo inside. And Ballo missed, I don't know what he was from the free throw line, but at one point in time, he missed like 6 straight. So it's like, you're going to throw it in there, and either you're going to get a dunk layup or you're going to get 0, right? Because if he gets fouled, he wasn't making free throws. And so it was like, but you got to hit a 3. I don't care who you are. If your best player goes 0 for 9, if Steph goes 0 for 9 from 3, the Warriors' chances of winning the game are very slim, right? If your best player does that. And look, Caleb Love is a very good player. He's been consistent all year. He had a bad game on the wrong night to have a bad game, and they weren't able to get a rhythm. But when you look up and you're shooting 36, 37% from the field, you are 16, 15% from 3, and you're down by 4, right? And you're down by 4. That's how hard they were playing. I think for me, the hardest part is that it's just, I don't think our performance in the tournament is indicative of who we are as a basketball program. And that's the part.
Yes.
And that's the part. And when I say that, and that's the part that's disappointing, because we can go back to we haven't been to the Final Four in damn near 25 fucking years. No, that's a joke, right?
Yeah.
Like when you consistently are Pac-10, Pac-12 champions, you're consistently a 1 seed, you're consistently a 2 seed. Even last night, North Carolina loses. So you had an opportunity to go against Clemson, then Alabama, in Los Angeles, California.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, in Los Angeles, California, on your way to Phoenix, Arizona. For the Final Four. Those were the games that you got. You got home games in LA. And
Yeah,
that's the part that it was just like, even when it's tailor made, even when you have a veteran team, even when all of these things go this way, we just fall short. Now, I don't think it was like we played a little bit frantic in that first like probably 5 to 7 minutes. We settled in, but our 3 point shot never came back. And like we could not hit a three to save our life. I think we were 1 or 2 for 13 or 14 at one point in time. So the boys played hard. The kids played hard. I will always respect effort. They just
totally.
couldn't make a shot. That's what I'm saying. So
Can I
I'm
ask you guys a
frustrated.
question? Because there was this, I was actually out at a bar watching this last night, and a couple of gentlemen, they were older guys, came in and they were screaming. Obviously, they had bet on the game. They were screaming at your coach. They were, I mean, saying the most absurd things. And y'all's coach is the winningest coach as a head coach in his 2 years, correct? I believe that's
Yeah.
so. My point here is, and this guy was getting into it with someone else, and he was basically saying that even though he's the winningest coach for the regular season, he hasn't done shit in the post. So when was the last time you guys made it to the Final Four?
My year when I was a
90s. Yeah,
junior, when I
2001.
was when I was a junior.
Okay, so the regular season and winning in the regular season still holds no, like, that doesn't matter. You actually agree? You guys, it's all about the Final Four. It's all
Here,
about okay.
well, here's what I'll say this. The college is changing. We don't want to be the Utah Jazz of college sports, where we're number one or number two and everything, and then as soon as the playoffs come, we get drubbed out, right? Like, we don't want to be that. For me, if we were just to choose what we're going to be, are we going to be great at college basketball, where we are going to either get transfers and get older guys who may not be the best in the league but are going to be great in college, or are we going to put NBA players in the league, right? If we were Calipari, right, and we have these young players who are coming in every year and they're draft pick after draft pick after draft pick, I'd understand. I would understand like losing to some of these teams that are 24, 25, 26. But when we have a team of 24 to 22-year-olds, not a lot of young guys playing, and we're not putting NBA players, we're not putting lottery picks out, and we're not doing well in the tournament. To me, I would like to understand what we are. We used to be both. We used to be both, where we would be solid in the tournament, Elite Eight, Sweet 16, Final Four, whatever that is, and then also put NBA players out. We're doing neither right now. And
Well, and
that's
I
what I'm like, what are we?
well, and it's like in those 20 plus years, we have an Elite Eight loss to Kansas. We have an
Yeah,
Elite Eight loss to Illinois. We have 2 Elite Eight losses to Wisconsin. Last night we lose in the Sweet 16. So we have an Elite Eight loss to UConn when they won the
right.
championship. Jamal Horn knocks out. So I guess the frustration is, since that 2001 team that went to the Final Four, we have like 6 Elite Eights, right? So it's not like we've just been, but like, you don't go to Arizona for the Elite Eight. That's not why you go there. And at some point in time, it's like, I respect the conference and winning conference titles, and I respect that because I truly believe that that's part of the process. You have to dominate and you have to build and then you have to get ready. But all of that work is to get ready for that do or die moment in the tournament. And so while you can go to Arizona and you can win a Pac-12, like, no one gives a shit. No one gives
No
a
one
shit if you
gives a
win the
shit.
Pac-12 because we've all done it. We like, if you break it down from the time the Pac-10 started up until the Pac-12 ended, right? From when Arizona joined, I think we won more Pac-10 titles than any other school. It was
I
like
think
us and
everyone won
UConn,
twice. If you were
you
there
know?
4 years,
Yeah.
everyone won twice.
Yeah, so winning the conference doesn't do anything. But you don't go to Arizona, you don't go to Kentucky, Duke, North Carolina. You don't go to these schools to win the conference. You go to this school to get to the Final Four. You go to those schools to try and win a championship.
Yeah.
And we fell short. So Sean Miller had before he was fired, he was the winningest coach over his era in the pack. So it was like he was the winningest coach. So we won and had success. This year stung a little bit because I felt like it was tailor made, but there's been years where we lost in Anaheim, right?
Yeah.
Anaheim. That is like multiple years we lost in Anaheim with opportunities to go to the Final Four. Those are home games for us, and so that's the part where it's just like it's tough getting over it.
It's tough, but you know what? You know what we're gonna do?
Talk
We're
about
gonna
the
be
NBA.
there next year.
Oh,
We're gonna
Yeah,
be
and
there
look,
next year.
I still fucking blame Channing. I still blame Channing.
for
Say
what?
whatever we want. He knows. He knows because he was the
What?
first. Channing was the first team to go 4 years at Arizona and not go to the Final Four in the Lute Olson era. The
There's
first
only
one.
so much a guy can do, Richard.
Well, all I'm
There's
saying is that they went
listen.
to the they
That's
went to
There's
the
a
why he
final.
stat that's
takes
Listen,
Victor
circulating.
they
Wembanyama and
went to
Defensive Player of the Year.
they went to the Final Four in '98. They went to the Final Four
Oh one.
in '88, and then they went in '94. Then they went in '98. Then they went in 2001, and then it just stopped.
It all
Yeah.
makes
So,
sense.
like, look, this is one thing I
Why?
will say too about the winningest coach. Look, when you step into a race car, right? When you step into a race car, sometimes all you have to do is put your foot on the gas pedal. Like he stepped into Arizona, right? Now he's recruited great players. Very, very good recruiter. I'm not questioning that. But when you have that Arizona on your chest, when you have sold out arenas, when you have the backing of a community, and then you have an alumni base of players and people that are involved, that like I'm sitting next to Terry Francona. I'm sitting next to Bob Baffert, who's right behind me. I'm sitting watching Kenny Lofton. Like it was like so many like Arizona people come out to support this team, and it sucks when they lose. Yeah, that's all. We're emotional. I still blame Channing. Channing fucking started a curse, the Channing
We're a
curse.
football team now. Also, guys, there's only so much I could do. Okay, there's only 4 players ever to have 25, 12, and 5 in a
Tell him,
in a
Channing.
game versus a
Tell him.
top 2 seed. I mean, there's only so much. I can't bring the ball up the court, Richard. I don't even know how to dribble to this day. I don't know how to dribble. Look,
Yes.
Aw, that's okay.
but
Well,
yes, did I miss a pass?
I'm sorry,
Probably.
guys.
But them
Yeah.
threes,
Okay. Don't. I look. I've
one
watched the
pass, one
film.
play don't
I
make the play. One
look.
play don't make
Who
the
do you
whole
think
game.
hurts worse today? Because I have to be on air in 90 minutes leading a ship with both Robert Ory and James Worthy. Do you think James Worthy feels worse today or you guys?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, James Worthy
No.
for
No.
sure.
Well, James
For
Worthy because
sure.
he has to be next to Robert Ory. That if I had to sit
Fair,
next to
fair.
somebody from Clemson, if I had
Yeah,
to sit next to somebody from Clemson, well,
think
and
about
this is what
that.
I say.
That's
That
so
is
true.
also this and just another little tidbit. It's always best to play that first game, right? If you told me that North Carolina saw that Arizona lost and they lost a bit of their edge, I would believe that,
Man.
Oh yeah,
right?
I can believe that too.
Mm.
Like, ooh, we could do this. We just got to beat this team. But college is so different, man. I'm just like, we're just fan. I'm just a fan. I'll be back
I
at Dirtbags next year for Red and Blue.
dead. Dirtbags. Shout out Dirtbags. What a spot. Steph Curry makes you believe you can do anything, and the Curry 11s are specifically designed with ultimate bounce, grip, and stability to allow everyone to do their thing. New generations of ball players are coming up and showing the basketball world that the old rules do not apply. The future is exciting, fast, positive, and hungry. This NBA season, rock with your favorite player and rep his shoes on and off the court. The Curry 11s are perfect for both the committed and casual ballers. The UA Warp Tech makes the shoe feel like it was designed for your feet, locked in no matter what you do on the court. Stop in your tracks with dual density UA flow cushioning and traction. It's an emergency brake you don't even notice. Steph's 11th signature shoe steps into the second decade of his sneaker career, pulling colorway inspiration from the wonders of a positive and modernized future on and off the court. Take these kicks with you when you leave the scrimmage and rep Under Armour wherever you go. So do your thing. Change the game. The Curry 11 Future Curry is available now at currybrand.com. All right, let's talk about the NBA. Guys, 9-10 games
Dude, where
left.
do we start?
Where would you like to start? We could talk about Richard's
Let's start
Rockets,
with the Rockets.
that might be in
Richard,
the playoffs.
God, we knew it. We knew it.
10
There's
straight,
no way
12 of
nobody
their last
saw this,
13.
Richard.
Can I give you
Nobody
something
saw
though?
this.
Really quick.
Wait. Go ahead, Al.
Really quick. They have an opportunity to be in the play-in. All right. They won just 22 games last year. They were the second worst team in the league. They were the worst team in 21 and 22. And here they are. Is this the Ime effect? What else is going on? What are you seeing?
Ime,
Give me my
Van
flowers. Give
Vliet,
me my flowers. Give me my
Richard.
flowers. Give
I
me
will
my
say this:
flowers.
nobody saw this
Daisies?
except for you, and no, even you didn't see this. When Sengun went out, everyone was like, "Damn, that's a great year they've had," but nobody saw them winning 10 out of 12, and Jalen Green just magically going apeshit on the whole league. Like, how do you snap and get maturity and growth and all this stuff? I don't know
He's about
what
to be a
happened or
father.
what.
He's about to be a father.
Okay, fathers, yes.
He's about to be
Father.
a father.
About to be a fathers?
Richard, take your
Edit,
flowers.
edit.
Take your flowers, your roses, your tulips, your daisies, whatever the hell you want. You're right.
This is what I'm gonna say. You bring in Ime, championship quality coach. Young, he had a young team. He's doing it. You bring in Van Vliet, championship point guard. Then you bring in Dylan Brooks. He is a versatile defender, 1 through 3, 4, whatever you need. He's a shit starter. He's a
Yeah,
agitator.
disruptor.
Those, so when you look at it, you improved. You got one of the best coaches in the NBA. You got one of the more steady point guards in the league, and then you add a high level all defensive player. You add those, like, look at what Minnesota did when they added Conley and they added Rudy Gobert. Their
In
team
slow
just
mo.
like,
Slow
well,
mo.
but yeah, and slow mo. But I'm saying just adding two people to the talent around Shingun has been amazing. Obviously the young guys and we
Jabari
didn't
Smith
with
has been solid.
Jabari Smith. So they're all solid. So what you did is you brought in some people that were like, no, every single day we work, every single day we get better, and this is a grind. And sometimes when you're playing young players, you're like, just go play. Right, we're gonna get you that experience. You're not breaking down film. You're not holding high level of accountability. You can turn the ball over 3 times in a row, and they're still gonna play you. Now these kids have more accountability. So that's what I said. I said this with those additions. I didn't say that. I said that I believe that they would be a play-in team. And everyone, no, I'm like, yo, we're gonna like a play-in team. They got to win 9 more games. That's all they got to do from what they did the year before. If Van Fleet, Ime, and Dylan Brooks are not, and we're forgetting about adding Jeff Green, right? We're adding veterans around that. So we're forgetting about adding that stuff. So when you look at all of that, then you basically like those guys are worth 9 games. Those guys will get you 9 games. That was my
Richard.
thing.
Who?
But let's say this. The Western Conference is a monster, and they've had to win 10 out of 12 to
I don't
even
give a
catch up
shit
to
what
those
they've had to do.
nine.
They did it.
I do.
Let me
Well, they're
ask you this
doing it.
question. In a one game situation, because right now, I mean, to be honest with you, with 10 games, 9 games to go, whatever it is, the Lakers are a game and a half out of 8, though they don't have that tiebreaker with the Kings. They're 2 games out of 7 with the Suns, which they do have that tiebreaker. Obviously, the Suns and the Kings have the hardest remaining schedules here down the stretch. If the Rockets, in a one game scenario, if the Rockets get into that 10, do you guys see them getting into the 10 spot with what's going on with the Warriors? If so, which is a tougher matchup for the Lakers?
Oh, damn.
It's 2 different matchups.
If
One,
the
there's the
Lakers are 9.
veteran, there's the veterans, and like
Yes.
these guys know how to put together a game plan. They know how to do that. Houston, you don't know what the fuck you're gonna give these bad boys. These bad boys might come out and just ball and hoop. Like I think I
And
I
there
would
is
be
something
more.
to that whole you don't know better, so you just like there is
Yeah.
Yeah.
something to that in a one game situation.
Yeah, I fully if to me, I think the scarier matchup would be Houston, right? I think the scarier matchup would be Houston in a 1 game situation. I think the Warriors are the ones that you're just like, Steph can get going and you try and figure it out, but the way Jalen Green is playing right now, he might have a Steph Curry night,
You
and
know,
you're
they're
just
saying
like,
Sanguine is coming back. He might be
uh, when,
back by then.
when is he coming back?
That's what they said. Like, they're
Yeah, that
ramping
he could
up.
be
Like,
back. Yeah,
he could be
before the
back,
Ooh,
which would be a
postseason.
bigger
hey,
problem.
he's like a young Jokic. He's good.
Super. He is very
He's
good. You know
very,
what?
very good.
He is an example because, we hear like what he says at NBA TV of like what he thought about Ime. He goes, I love that Ime cusses me out. He cusses that guy out. He goes, I need that. Like, I needed that structure to like be held accountable, to not turn the ball over, to be aggressive all game. Like, these young guys needed that. I think a lot of them fought it, like Boston fought it, and then they bought in at the end of like, oh shit, like we're competing. And
Yeah,
then you notice they are not that they're saying they're scrappy. I think the word is they are chemistry wise far and away better than what they were last year and what a lot of teams are. So like all these little scraps that Dylan Brooks is getting into, that Jalen Green is getting into, that these guys are getting into, you're noticing they're not being punked anymore. And teams think, oh, I could just punk them, and that's
Mm-hmm.
how we'll win the game. And Dylan Brooks is there like, no, we're gonna keep this to basketball, or else it's gonna get dirty for all
Yeah.
y'all.
Yeah, Van
So
Fleet, but Van Fleet
yeah,
though, and Jeff Green. Like Jeff Green's a champion. Van Fleet's a champion. Dylan Brooks, since he came into the league, like in
he's
Memphis,
done great.
before it went sideways, they were one of the teams that people were picking them to be conference finalists to
Right.
possibly go and get to the NBA final. That's where he was going. So I think when you add winners, and this is where we always talk about it, winning is fucking hard. You
Ugh,
want people on your team that know how hard it is to win, right? That know how hard it is to win. Same with Denver. Denver right now is playing at such a calm pace. It's been slow and steady for them because they have the confidence of being a champion. And sometimes that comes from as a team, and that can come from individuals. And I think the individuals, whether it's Ime, whether it's Dylan Brooks, whether it's Jeff Green, Van Vliet, all of these guys have contributed to the culture, and their culture has changed. That's if
yeah.
you
Oh
if
yeah.
someone were to tell you next year that Houston would be the sixth seed, you would be like, I could see it.
Oh,
What
easily
was
could see
y'all's
that.
what was y'all's take of Draymond's week? The thing that happened with Patty Mills, that incident, obviously against the Magic. You saw the frustration from Steph. And oftentimes, obviously, when we hear about all of this with Draymond, if the history of his career plays into decision making in moments like this, should he have been suspended?
The Patty Mills thing was very close. I
Hmm.
don't think
Yeah. Oh yeah.
the double technical is just like you're jarring. But like
Okay.
you're fucking that mad. You're that mad 4
4
minutes
minutes
into a
in.
game. 4 minutes into a game, you're that mad. You're like that to me is, again, we've always said, like, not always, but we've said there's something different. It's not, this isn't competitiveness, this isn't basketball. It's like you are not entitled, in my opinion, to, oh, that's a foul, and I'm just going to argue for 10 minutes that that was a foul. Like, I don't care if you've won 4 championships. I don't care if you're a defensive player of the year. I don't care about that. There are 10 grown men on that court. You are not the one person that gets to do that, right? And it's like, yo, it's okay to have a moment. It's okay to have a moment. We all have moments. But when you consistently have moments, and you see that from Steph. Steph is never going to come out and be like, you know what? I'm getting fucking sick of his shit. I'm sick of his shit. I don't care if he, honestly, I'd rather, because we're losing now. I'd rather lose and be at peace with people that I can count on than to like go into battle with someone that I just don't know if his gun is going to fire, if he remembered to bring his gun, if he's going to just start shooting everybody in our own locker room. That's not who you want to go to war with.
I think Steph and that team need consistency. Now, consistent aggressiveness is awesome. Consistent chaos or consistent chaos is not what that team needs down the stretch. Understanding what is at stake here, right? Like, I think Steph understands, and people make good points, right? I think Tim Legler, somebody said, it was like, think about what the team has to think about if they don't make the playoffs this year. They have to make
Mm.
hard decisions. And Steph is like, all we have to do is show promise and they'll keep this team together, right? Steph don't want to leave. They don't want to get rid of Steph, but Steph don't want to be on a team without Clay, without Draymond, with a bunch of young guys at the end of his career where he's fighting just to win 40 games.
Channing,
And that's where they're at.
do you
Huh?
think that Steph is done competing for a championship? Like, will be in a
Without a doubt.
position, like, obviously every time
On this
he's
team, on
out.
Golden State, without a doubt. No. There's no way. I'm going to say this right now. There is no way, with how good Denver is, with how good Minnesota, and then we're not even considering next year Memphis, Dallas, right? Houston's going to be better. Phoenix is solid, right? And Sacramento is solid. Like, they have such, when you go into the playoffs, if you want to win a chip, you got to have a couple what ifs. And those what ifs might be like, can the coach make a play down the run? Or is this guy going to step up? Or like, who's our seventh or eighth guy that's going to play big minutes? Golden State has about 10 what ifs, and five of them are with their big three. Clay's been inconsistent all year, right? Figuring out his role. It's understandable. It's not a judgment on him. It's a fact. Draymond has been extremely inconsistent. Steph looks exhausted and emotionally exhausted. Does Kuminga, the way he plays and when he plays well, does that equal winning in playoffs? Where's Wiggins? Right? And those young guys, you're just like, man, like, can we get anything from them that equates to winning in big moments? That's a lot of what ifs.
No, I was gonna say
I was
they're
gonna
fighting
say,
for the 10th seed. They're fighting for the 10th
yeah,
seed. What the fuck are we? The
yeah,
10th seed.
fighting,
They're fighting for the 10th.
fighting.
What the fuck are we talking about?
Yeah.
They're fighting for the 10th seed. I'm done. We've had enough conversation. I'm not going to spend more time talking about a team that's fighting for the 10th seed. They don't
Right.
Okay,
deserve it.
so having
They
said that,
deserved all the attention
I
before.
heard you. We're moving on. All right, it's time for you to give me your top players from last week. They're your Under Armour game changers of the week. Which players or coaches impressed you the most?
I'm going first, DeJounte Murray.
Oh, you fucker.
DeJounte Murray.
44 points on
Hey,
44
he shot
shots.
that mug
Congrats.
every dude. It was
If it
crazy
takes
watching him
50,
do
if
that.
it takes 100 shots, as long as you get the win, that's all that
Yeah,
matters.
true.
Get the win. If you got to shoot 102 shots and win, there's no complaints here.
No.
No complaints.
I will say this. The New Orleans Pelicans defense, they are suffocating teams. It is crazy to watch them play a team like the Bucks, who are very, very good, and literally shut down Damian Lillard the first half and then shut down Giannis in the fourth quarter, where he doesn't take a shot in the fourth quarter is crazy. And then for them, they are healthy. You know, Zion's active. They got Trey Murphy. They have, you know, all these guys that are so good at defense, and they're bought in, and it's fun to watch. And they are going to be scary in the playoffs.
How about the Bucks? What is it? What's their record
Hang
with
on.
Doc? 13 and
Road
14.
Trippin's
13
Game
and 14.
Changers. I'm coming there in 1 second. Road Trippin's Game Changers of the Week, sponsored by Under Armour. Do your
Ugh.
thing. Change the game. The Curry 11 Future Curries are available now at currybrand.com. What a way to wrap up the Warriors conversation than a shout out to Steph Curry and his shoes. Continue, Rich, because I actually stole this record for you from the NBA Today that you just hosted. They're 14-3 with Doc.
Oh.
14-13.
14 and 13.
Well, we say it's like, you know, everyone panicked, whether it was with James Harden or when Doc first took over. It's like, look, okay, I believe a true sample size is, you know, somewhere between 20 and 25 games, right? And look, a 500 record with 30 games, and I know they started off 2-7, and then they had a great stretch post All-Star break. They played really well post All-Star break. They've been struggling a little bit. All I know is that to me is shocking. Now, again, they're
Have
going to
you
get to
watched
the
them play
post.
lately?
Yeah, I've watched. No, I'm not saying, but
It's,
from their performance, I'm talking about their record. You can.
I know, but it's bad to watch them. Defensively, they are unenthusiastic. They are undisciplined. They, you know, not a sign of a good team when somebody drives to the hoop and then you're looking like, was that you or was that me? Like, put it this way, the Pelicans got to the rim at will. Zion was going at Giannis, and you don't really see that often, right? Where they're like, clear out. They said, clear out. Zion go at Giannis one on one, right? And the Pelicans struggle with offense at times, right? Especially with Brandon Ingram in the half court. They ran that little dribble weave and gave that ball to Zion at the top of the key, and he just said, "It's me and you. You better get up out my way." Boom, boom, boom. Layup, 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 kick, layup, kick. Like they just got, and obviously this is last night, but they have not shown a sense of urgency. They just think they could just turn this thing on, and they don't have that type of motor, or I have not seen it. Now, if it happens, it happens, and I'm wrong, and I've been wrong more than I've been right. But dude, watching them these last few games, they don't play like they believe that they can actually do it.
I got nothing to say, bro. That's well said. Well said.
You agree?
It's
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
So
dude,
from
last
they're
night.
the 2 seed, right? 2 seed. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're still
Totally.
the 2 seed. So from the 2 seed to the 1 seed, are you buying the thought about the Boston Celtics and the losses that
Well, the
they've
Boston
had
Celtics,
and being the number
they're
1
about to win
seed?
60 games. They're about to win 60 games. That's what I tell you. They're about to win 60 games. So the fact that
Zach
we
Lowe is
panicked
not
because of
hearing that. Zach Lowe is not hearing that.
I
He's
He
not.
does
love
not
that.
care.
Zach is my fucking favorite.
There is only one Achilles heel, and only two teams play that way, and one of them is playing crappy right now, and the other one is the Knicks, who are getting healthy. Those are the only two teams that are going to give them trouble. Why? When the Boston Celtics don't get up 53s, when they don't get up a lot of threes because they're breaking down the teams defensively, they struggle. Which is, if you watch those Atlanta games, Atlanta, even though they were down 30, didn't let Boston settle for threes, played great one-on-one defense, made them shoot those tough twos, and got out and ran. And that's the only thing that Boston doesn't do well. When they don't shoot threes well, they seem to struggle. Now in the playoffs, when you're not going to get up 53s, you may get up 30. Can you win a game like that? I don't know how many games they've won without the three ball. Now, obviously they have Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum and Porzingis and Jrue Holiday, but there are some bad matchups out there for them. I think they're going to make the Eastern Conference Finals, but I think they're going to struggle versus a team or two.
I think they make the finals, and I think they will have some games like this. You look at teams that have been dominant, right? Where it was like our Cavs team, some of the Warriors team, where you can wheel off 10 straight playoff games. I think that they win a lot of. I think they win, 4-2, 4. They win a lot of series in 6 because you just don't have the. You can beat them a game. They've shown that they can be beaten and that they can have a bad fourth quarter. But I personally, currently, right now, don't see a team that could play consistent enough over 7 games to match their firepower. There's only like 2 or 3 teams in the league. So Denver being one of them, which means if they lose to Denver, they would be in the NBA Finals. I think the Clippers, when healthy and playing good basketball, is one of those teams. And I think that everybody else you have to see. OKC, we got to see. Minnesota, we got to see. Milwaukee, we got to see. All of these teams, you got to kind of like, we got to see what they can do. I think Boston is just a team that is like, okay, they might lose a game because they shot 12 for 40 from 3 and whatever. They didn't finish great. But then the next night, they're going to go out there and fire them bitches and they're going to be 20 for 40. It's going to be a
True.
problem. And it's
True.
like, yeah, they just have too much firepower. And look, it's
Yeah.
32 minutes. I feel like we've talked enough.
No, I actually have one more question for you. Channing, you've been talking about the value of Mitchell Robinson all year. Who do you
Yep.
think is going to face Boston in the conference finals? What does Mitchell Robinson do to the Knicks? Is it enough? Could they be a team that makes it to the Eastern Conference Finals?
Is Julius Randle playing?
Yes.
I think the Knicks can make the Eastern Conference Finals.
So he's the difference maker. If
I think Mitchell
isn't out
Robinson
there,
and
no
Julius
shot.
Randle, I think they're the most physical team in the NBA with those two guys out there. So you have OG, Mitchell Robinson, Josh Hart. You have Julius Randle, Jalen Brunson. That's a physical, grinded, tough nose, put the Timbs on team. I think they can make it because a lot of teams aren't going to want to play like that or be used to playing like that. And offensively, they have 2 or 3 guys that you can go to that say, hey, we just need a grimy 20. Give me a grimy 20.
I like the Knicks. Josh Hart's playing his best basketball. I like all that.
His
But
quote
can
was
we talk
funny.
about how Arizona had a chance to play Clemson in Staples on a Saturday? That place would have been packed to
You
the
mean
brim
Alabama?
with
Oh,
or Alabama. They had a chance to play
oh,
Alabama to go to the Final Four, basically at a home game on a Saturday night. Do you know how many drunk Arizona kids would have driven from
oh.
Tucson out to LA to go to that?
Oh, don't even just making
We're
me
going to
upset.
start how we ended, being
Okay.
pissed off about our Wildcats.
And that's the one thing I love about the both of you. You wear your heart on your sleeve and you keep everything a bean. So before we wrap up this episode, we love our listeners. We love our viewers. You all know this. We love our Road Trippin fans. You've been with us since day one, of course. So we owe it to you to let you know that we are going to take a little pause. There's some changes coming on the end of Road Trippin. The 3 of us will still be here. We are not going anywhere, but we're just doing some things behind the scenes. So we're going to take a week or 2, and then you will hear the big announcement that is coming your way. Having said that, we talk about it all the time, and I find it so interesting how there's so many podcasts out there nowadays, and everyone wants to be on a podcast and everyone wants to have their own podcast. But
Ugh.
the one thing I think people learn is that doing a podcast is not easy. It takes a village. It's very hard. And so I think with that said, there are a few individuals, Jeremiah, Frank,
Oh yeah,
Dom,
Big
Shout
J.
out
who have,
J-My.
who have worked with
Love you,
us over the
Jeremiah.
last couple of years to make Road Trippin every single week what it is. The hours, the time, the preparation, the skill. We truly can't thank you guys enough for everything you've done. And we aren't going anywhere. So we will be forever connected with you guys. So just know from the bottom of our hearts, we appreciate it. And you've been a big reason as to why Road Trippin continues. So we will be back in a couple of weeks to all of our listeners. Don't miss us too much. But until then, Rich and Channing need to clearly clear their minds and get emotional.
I'm not coming back. I'm not coming back. I
Oh,
quit.
thank God.
I quit.
Another edition of Road Trippin.